Okay, we will start with an opening prayer. Please remain muted. We call the benevolent beings of light, archangels, and ascended masters to guide and inspire us during this forum. Our forum's vision is to bring the understanding, tools, discipline, and support for those seeking to enter the straight and narrow path, the road less traveled, that will lead us along effectively and steadily through the ascension process. Integration of the human experience with our divine origin is moving us full circle to achieve our divine potential. So be it. Amen. We thank you for answering the call from on high to attend the forum. Let us join our hearts and minds in preparation to receive the blessings offered. We ask you to please release your day from your mind and center yourself, breathing in deeply and release. Breathe in deeply and release. Take another deep breath in and release. Relax the tension in your body and your mind. Now bring your full attention to the forum. Be fully present in order to receive and fully retain the discourse gifts. And now we will start our quote and then the video.
Everything changes this September. 999 Portal. September 9th, 2025 marks the powerful 999 Portal, an energetic gateway that comes only once every 9 years. In numerology, the number 9 symbolized completion and release. When it triples into 999, its energy is magnified, urging us to let go of old cycles, outdated patterns, and pain that no longer serves our growth. This portal is an invitation to clear space in your life. Endings are not something to fear. They are sacred transitions, preparing you for renewal and new beginnings. Trust that what's leaving now is creating room for something far greater than you've imagined. In just 4 months, we enter 2026, a one universal year, representing fresh starts, new opportunities, and the dawn of a brand new cycle. To step into that energy fully, we must first honor the 999 portal by releasing what's meant to stay in the past. The message of the 999 portal is clear. Release, surrender, and rise. This is your moment to close the old chapters and step into the next level of your journey with clarity and grace.
Yeah, leave it up on the screen. I'm going to tell you something. It isn't like if you didn't do all this yesterday that you've lost your opportunity. It's a once that doorway is open, or any gateway at all, it stays open. And that it means that you every day work towards what it is suggesting, because this is what I've been telling you. We must keep ascending, rising our frequency, so that we can walk through that doorway, the final one that's going to open. There's quite a few that are going to open over throughout this crazy 2025 opportunity, and we'll be able to move forward as a result of our efforts. Not everybody's going to do the efforts, and it will show, and they'll pretty much have to struggle along as the intensity of that light increases, and we're not ready for it. It really pushes us to our limits. So this was so powerful, Judy. Thank you so much for sending it over. I felt it was worthy to be putting up here, and keep it in mind because it's a continuous process. Thank you. And I'll comment after the quote.
Life is not about being rich, being popular, being highly educated, or being perfect. It's about being real, humble, and kind.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, what is so interesting about this is in the world, in the 3D cycles, being rich and popular and educated and all kinds of perfect, fitting into all the different groups and things that people do in order to be part of the circle of life. But that is not really what is important. The last three words were. Okay? Keep it in mind. Thank you so much.
Okay, please pause the recording, please.
Okay. Foundation of creation. Can you see why I named it that? Everything that we've talked about for the last couple of years is exactly what this video was displaying to you. Everybody seems to think somehow we've been programmed outside ourselves. But the truth is, we're just living in programming that we picked up along the way. You see? And we forgot that we believed these things. The truth is, we are only in this matrix to be able to see the mirrors of ourself in all the people that are magnetized to each other. And when we do, we get to see our strengths, our weaknesses, our fears, our joy, our illness, our health, our annoyance, our anger. We get to see it all. And it's all part of us from the past. We've never not been. There's no way to measure the time that we've been having experiences, some of which scared us right out of our gourd. And that fear is tucked away. The way to change all of this, one by one, each issue, each time you find something that occurs in your life and you just say to yourself, whoa, where did that come from? It's a seed, so to speak, that was planted and grew. And then it was time, as the layers come up in this so-called field, as he described it, that is the time when you're going to have the opportunity to see what you haven't addressed yet. Yeah. It's living consciously all the time. And if you don't do the work that you need to, nobody's going to fix you. Nobody. And it could be subtle things. It could be just the fact that people don't respond to us the way we would imagine. We mean well. In our hearts, we feel like we're doing the right thing, and yet we are rejected or argued with. Does anybody think about that? Could that be because I'm carrying something inside me from the past? Whether I did it to that person or someone else, it doesn't matter because the energy in both of you are matching. You see? So the wise one will really look at it and pull it apart. What is it? What was it about me that struck a chord in that person? And then say to yourself, well, okay, when I was saying this or when I did that, that's when it all started. That's when it fell apart. And then look at the situation. Look at it and be honest with yourself. Why did you do it? You ask yourself these questions. You're not asking anybody else because, look, they're going to see it from their frequency, from their understanding, unless they can actually read the Akashic record. The smartest thing you can do is ask these questions within you, because your higher self is your potential and would guide you carefully and truthfully through every step and stage of what you need to see and know about yourself. Don't get angry at yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You were learning. You were learning about life. And sometimes life can be very harsh and hard and miserable. And other times it could be so joyful and absolutely beautiful, a heavenly experience. And that's what keeps us going. The steps and stages that they were talking about on this are absolutely perfectly stated. It's a matter of knowing yourself fully, knowing yourself, want to know who you are. You get to know your friends. You could tell for an hour about your friend and what your friends said and what your friends did and how they like this and they don't like that. But if somebody asked you, would you be able to tell them? Are you really clear on who you are? Because you could be with 10 different people and they will see you in 10 different lights. They will. Because of the frequency you're emitting into the field around you, your energy field, which they're standing in and focusing upon. And at the same time, you are. So at the retreat, we're going to work with this so that the people that are there are going to understand what this is all about, this field, energy, magnetism, all the things that are, they're really divine gifts. And our only job is to open our eyes and watch and open our ears and listen. That's what Jesus was saying when he said, see with the eyes that truly see, hear with the ears that truly hear. There's so much more than just the noise. It's the vibration, the depth of body language, of sound, of even how somebody's speaking. If they're very high pitched, it's because they're in a state of stress. They're not really being themselves. They're feeling like they have to perform. And anybody that's been a teacher can see that in their students. You'll see when they're trying to tell you something that they're really, really not feeling very safe about, and their voice will change from their normal way of speaking. When I was in that very special school in Chesapeake Bay, we worked with body language in many, many areas of it's really having the eyes to truly see, and it reveals to you everything you need to know. And it's not about them, though. It's about you. Everything you determined you were witnessing is going on inside you. You see? That's why we're with these people. So you're with someone that you really want to kind of get away from. Very uncomfortable. And it happens to all of us. And then when you go home, you're thinking about it and you're going on and on about what that person did and what they look like and smelt like and whatever else you come up with. And if you're living consciously, when you're done saying all that, you start looking at yourself and saying, did that person happen to see this in me too? Were they describing me as I was describing them in my own mind? One can only wonder. But we're not responsible for what they think or feel. We're responsible for us, where we're at. That little voice that never stops. It was talking about when you wake up, sometimes you hear all this chatter going on in your head, just going on and on about whatever. Well, when I'm done with the chatter, which I allow for a little while, I'm very curious to hear what all these voices in my head are going to say. What I do is I bless everyone I thought of, everyone that came to mind, and send them on their way. And everything stops. And there's silence. And then I start my prayers. And if they come back in, they need a double prayer. And so I bless them and send them on the way. You see? Sometimes other things come up and you just start thinking about it, things you haven't dealt with or that you have to deal with, and it's still happening and it's on your mind, and that is for you to bless and send it on its way. When Jesus said, you don't have to prepare to say what you're going to say, because in the hour of your need, you will open your mouth and the words will be given to you. I believe this with all my heart, and I experience it every Wednesday, every counseling, and everywhere I go. It's just what it is. It is this understanding of life that you're part of everybody's little world. The damaged ones, the sick ones, the healthy ones, the brave ones, everybody. They're all there to show you a part of you. The question is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Now, he said that you don't have to fight the stream of opposites, right? Love and hate thing. Let's just use that for an example. You don't have to fight it. You just have to deal with the emotions, what we talk about on a regular basis. All the things that trouble you and hurt you and aggravate you and make you feel like your brain is going to explode. That's what you take care of. And as you do that and you release it into the violet fire, what happens is now you don't have to do anything. It moves into the unwounded part of it, the love side. Everything just moves on its own once you get all the emotions out of the way that keeps holding you there in that state. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand? It's going to happen naturally. But if you don't deal with the emotion, if you hold it in, if you think being strong is the answer, the strength is in actually facing it. I believe it was discussed in this video as well. If you don't face the things you want to run from, they'll never go away. You're stuck in them because you won't let it go. The emotion of it, the pain, the suffering. The other people involved, they're fine. They're going about their business, and if they're not fine, then they have their work to do too. But again, that's not our business. We've got enough on our plate. We don't need to get involved. But I found with myself, and I'm sure with yourself, that throughout the many years that you've been in this world, it's so much easier to concentrate on helping others get better rather than go inside and feel what's going on in us. So when you do nice, kind things, you're actually doing it to show you how you should treat yourself, that you should be kind to yourself and forgive yourself. We hold on to such anger and resentment of what we've done rather than just bless it and know that it was part of the journey. You see, it was the learning, like a child. We're children learning how to work with energy because everything is energy and frequency. And that energy is what you want to keep raising the frequency of so that your world turns into the world that you want it to live in. Now, there's plenty of things happening in the world outside of your fields, outside of your control. And that's why you have to mind your business. Bless everything. Bless everything. Just know enough that there is an issue to bless and to pray for. And then keep your frequency high and keep working. Keep saying to yourself, the violence in the world was something that I was involved in at one time or another. It's clearing its way out of the atmosphere of this planet. All of the rage and the noise and the anger, and we're seeing it just coming up to the surface because there's so much light here now. There is so much light. And when you turn the light on, you get to see all the darkness around you, right? That's what's happening. We're the witness of our past and the witness to what the world is responding or reacting to our part that we played. None of us are innocent. However, it was all part of the journey. It was all part of the journey. So what can you do for Mother Earth that has been sustaining us, feeding us, bringing us air and water and everything we need in life? Honor her and thank her every day for the beauty that she is, that she brings to us, and everything that she provides for us. She's our host. What can we do for the world? Every time we hear a headline, just start praying. Send as much light as you can. We all have questions about good and evil and all the things happening in the world. It's enough to boggle anybody's mind. But it isn't for us to figure out. What we have to figure out is us. What makes us tick? Why are we with the people we're with? Why do we do what we do? That's our job. And in this, going into all the different phases of how we, everything breathes, I have a note on that. It's all about the breath, to keep the rhythm right. Because you ever notice when you get upset, you hardly breathe, you hold your breath. But if you start breathing more deeply, that bringing in that energy of God into you, it stabilizes you and centers you. Don't let the world control you. You're the one that controls your world by your thoughts, your bravery or your fear, by your love or your anger. All of this is what we do to ourselves. It isn't the world doing it to us. Yes, there are people who are going through crazy things. They're allowing it to happen. They are allowing it to happen because nobody's a victim. They want to play out their rage and anger, so they'll take on a role where they can do that. There are some very, very vicious intentions on this planet. I, for one, do not want to be any part of that. I want to be part of the solution. And that should be our goal. to keep ourselves so beautifully lit, that fire in us to become the full potential of ourself that should drive us every day to do everything that we can to hold the light. And this is not anything that is selfish, that we spend so much time on ourselves. Most people won't bother because they don't feel they can make a difference. But look what happened when the Christ came onto the earth and gave the opportunity for all of us to understand really each person is a divine being, and we can make a difference in our little worlds around us, you see? And that is the task at hand. Save the world by saving yourself and spreading the love and light wherever you go. Be kind. Be kind to you. Learn to honor yourself. Love yourself. Most people are walking around with such guilt and shame. How do I know? I counsel and I hear their stories, and it is eating them up alive, literally, over all these years. For what? You don't gain anything from it. You lower your frequency, and then you give up thinking you can never change. So it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to end now. 8 o'clock almost. And I'll finish up my thoughts on this after we have questions and answers. And I want to give a little direction to this part of the forum. Maybe you don't really have specific questions because you're just trying to process what you heard. So I want you to share what you go through in your life, what you see happening, what you feel that you could you did make a change, or that others you see around you that were really in a different state, that they're starting to show signs of understanding what you do. This type of sharing would be very, very helpful. Okay? So I turn the mic over to Janet.
Thank you, Barbara. This was definitely kind of a lot to take in and process, but good, very good. Christine, please pause the recording and play the song.
So the memories of Atlantis, it was just, if you follow the sound and the feeling behind it, we've all been there. We all experienced it all the way to the end. And it was such a holy time for all of us. We were so at one with the planet, with God, with that energy, with light, with wisdom. It all sank into the sea. Yeah. However, it's because man started to develop their mind into things that weren't pure and beautiful. They closed off their third eye and were not communicating with the divine, and that's what happened. And I think that's why we're in the dilemma that we are today. But we are moving beyond that. It was beautiful, the sound. And anybody listening on YouTube, go to our stream. You'll be able to get the music and the video. The video was excellent. It should be looked at and listened to several times because it's very, very deep. Our Divine Origin is the name, and we also have a website, ourdivineorigin.com. We welcome you to visit and even to join the forum if you'd like to come every week. Okay. So God bless you and thank you. We'll go now into segment 2.
Thank you. And Barbara, can we please have your closing statement?
Tonight's topic, foundation of creation. So it's simple. It's natural. It's the reason you're here is to get in touch with the foundation, with the code that's already programmed inside you in your DNA of why you're here. What you're striving for is your full potential. And yet life keeps throwing rocks onto the path, and we think that we're not getting anywhere. We think that we are going backwards sometimes, or we're just stagnating, but we're not. You reached a point, you're in a layer, and in that layer is the magical key to what's holding you in that pattern. You're staying there so you can work on what's being presented to you. Your higher self is always on the job. Your body is the magnet that brings other people to you so that you can do your holy work. And that holy work, it's different with each person. Sometimes it touches you so deeply and you want to do something like Lorraine was speaking about. You don't just know about something and just walk away from it. If your heart tells you there's something that you could possibly do, even if it's just arranging things and getting people on the job to do something about it, that is huge. Because let me tell you, not a lot of people have that leadership ability. They will help you and they'll do things, but they don't really know how to pull it off. And that's such a strength. It's an amazing strength. You see, life is this wonderful dance. Sometimes you step on toes. Sometimes you trip. Sometimes you're as graceful as a swan swimming in the lake. And each moment that you go through things, learn to have a good laugh. Learn to look at yourself and say, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. It's like, what was I thinking? And just laugh a little bit. It happened for an actual reason because there's no mistakes in the universe. Sometimes you feel guilty. You say, oh man, I was a little tough on so and so, and I said my piece, but I really meant it. I meant it so that they understand what their behavior did. And they might get mad at you, but they'll think about it too. And then they'll realize on their own time and whatever, you may not even know that they thought about it and they really felt bad about the whole situation. But you have to know what you're feeling. And that's the key. You just keep feeling through your life, everything. Feel love, feel the anger, feel the fear, and don't fall for any of it except the love. That part is wonderful. And that part is what the blessing is. You're finding a part of yourself that you love, you see? And the whole thing about the gender, I just wanted to go over that for a moment, has nothing to do with whether you're a boy or a girl. You have the polarities. The two poles have to come together. I've talked about the mystical marriage many, many times over the years. And that mystical marriage is honoring both the masculine and the feminine energy within you, having a beautiful balance between the two. Know when to be strong and confident and go on your way, and know when to just pause and hold the energy like the immaculate conception of something beautiful that you want to see created. This is what we do. This is how we become whole, because that mystical marriage, when it happens inside, then you're at peace with both male and female attributes in yourself and how you use it in your life. You see, it has nothing to do with being a boy or a girl. It's an actual energy, and it is so powerful. It is so powerful when it is balanced together. It's not like you go to one or the other. It doesn't matter. That is not the key here. The key is the balance, you see, and using it when it's appropriate. Being soft and gentle and loving and caring and giving space is when it's called for, and that is your feminine energy. When you need to really get out there and assert yourself, that would be the masculine energy. And I can tell you, I am one darn aggressive woman when I believe in something with all my heart. And if I see something, especially with children and elders, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for them. And I would be very aggressive if somebody tried to hurt them or be disrespectful. And believe me, they appreciated it because not a lot of people know how to assert themselves and be strong. They really learn to be quiet. And like a lot of men said to me, I can't cry. From the day I was born, my father told me, "Don't you cry, you're a man." Act like it. Yeah, absolutely wrong. You need to feel just as deeply as anybody. Anybody. It has nothing to do with being a guy or a girl. And let me tell you, that is the power. When you can face yourself and feel it to that depth where it brings you to tears, you are very powerful. And that is your strength. That is your strength. And never, ever feel that you should not feel to that depth. That is compassion. The path of compassion is what Jesus was on. And I chose that path, and it's lonely sometimes and it's painful. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing like it because your heart is always open and it leads you to do the right thing. So, with those words, I close for this evening. I am so grateful for your attention. I'm telling you, you are really on the right road at the right time, and you are getting somewhere because you know your life is changing. It is changing for the better because you're coming into yourself. You're actually becoming you, not your job or your title or your education. None of that. None of that matters. What matters is your heart. That sacred chamber has been opened. And talk about a gateway. That was the gateway, your personal gateway to heaven, a heavenly consciousness. So keep at it. I keep at it. Any of you that ever would need any help, please get in touch with me. I'll make myself available. Okay? And when I can't have a personal session with you, you can always write to me and tell me what's going on, and I will ask for guidance to guide you. Okay? So, with that, we're not going to have segment 3 again this evening. And I wish you all a wonderful week and look forward to next Wednesday with you. I turn the mic over to Janet,
Thank
whose
you.
name is Audio this evening.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Why are you changing on me? What does the audio mean? Oh, listen twice as much as you speak. That's what it is. That's the
Ah.
thing. Or observe. Okay, so Barbara, thank you for being our guide, and not just tonight. So yes, we're not going to have that segment 3, the guided meditation. So I'm going to read the closing prayer. Please remain muted. We are deeply grateful for this forum. We thank those in attendance for your attention, for your wonderful questions, stories that touched our hearts and opened our minds to new possibilities. Our collective energy has filled this forum with light and love for each other. We are so grateful that each of us brings guides and angelic beings to the forum, raising the frequency ever higher. We are grateful for the assistance, inspiration, and guidance from the benevolent beings overseeing the forum. Thank you, Mother Mary. Know we are all deeply loved and richly blessed. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, John Boy. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a blessed week. Rest of the
Oh,
week.
yeah,
Good
John.
night.
Say good night audio to me.
I'm thinking the
Good night.
Waltons.
Good
Good
night.
night,
That's
everyone.
how John said.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.
To you all. Good night.
All right, now I have to change this.